not doing. You know what I mean? You're doing what you can't not do.
And that's easy. That looks easy. Like once when it's happening, you can still do stuff. Like it's still it's doing the most. I feel like once you are letting go and releasing that level, like I could see myself not thinking about stuff, and not thinking a day, but just everything just happens.
Like you're aligning with that universal will to where like the body is kind of like on like one of those things like when you're in the airport, you're standing on a thing and it moves you across. You know what I'm talking about? Like instead of walking, you just get on that thing. I feel like when you're like in alignment with the universal will, like your body's like that. Your universal will just pushes your body where it needs to go, what it needs to do, and it's not separate from your will, so you can trust it. It's just the universal will. You're like, all right, well, I'm in the right hands. I'm in my own hands, kind of.
Yeah.
And I feel like whenever I do large amounts of psychedelics, that I get on that track with the universal will.
You're just synced up on it, yeah.
It just like forces me onto the track, you know. Yeah. And then all my opinions go away.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, and I want to go deeper into that, just psychedelics specifically, like what's going on with alignment and like synchronizing and, you know, optimal timelines and things like that. Because those are terms that I feel like I come into, like, because I feel like I'll take it and then I just get put onto exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
Like, in such a way that there's too much information to process, there's too much going on. I gotta see it and experience it, especially peaking. Like, all this is happening. But then reality is just starting to rearrange just around the consciousness, it feels like.
Yeah, and I really feel like, I get like a lot. It's almost like a stimulus package every trip. I feel like it's like a spiritual stimulus package, or like anytime I fast, I guess, it's like kind of like a stimulus package. But definitely on the trips, because it's like, I get like, it's almost like a 1st and a 15th thing. I feel like I do my trip on a new moon or a full moon or whatever, and then I feel like I get a lot at once, but not enough that I can, you know, I mean, I can't process it all. It takes me like the rest of the cycle to really fully process it to where I'm integrating it into my life, what I've learned. And I feel like it's just dope. That's kind of the dope thing about psychedelics. Like, I feel like if you got any kind of patience, you know what I mean? Like, you can look at it like, all right, this is happening right now, but I'm open the door in a way where I'm gonna be getting stuff for the next following weeks. Kind of up until the next trip.
And do shit to make sure you don't forget what happened.
Yeah.
I like that. That's like a thing that I found recently is like, I make music a lot. Some people write, some people draw, other things like that. But we got profound experiences, like really profound experiences, but just forget what happens. And then the next time you actually take a psychedelic, you kind of got to go to that spot again. Because it just kind of gets forgot. Yeah. And, you know, really like advancing, like moving through so much experience. Like, if we could just kind of keep about it in a way where we're really making sure it's progress happening. Like in a spiritual sense, like if we are getting on track and aligned with the universal will, and there were intentions with the psychedelics to get to wherever it is in God, you know, that makes sense. If it's just to get more clear, you know, just that more clarity, you know, with that. It's just to be able to see, and I look at it as like just building trips. Like you already kind of take it 1st and 15th, and then you continually build not even knowledge, but just your heart. And I feel like it's just kind of like your feelings, and then being able to move through life intuitively, just based on how you feel, and then trust that and kind of get where it's almost like a craft in a vehicle. You're like able to move through, and then you're starting to like take off things. Maybe there's like a parachute on the back you didn't know. You like take the parachute off and you start to like maybe shape screws on the side, you know, and just get to where your experience of life can be so rapid. A lot of people get there and they want it to stop.
Yeah. The like, manifestation, you want to slow things. You want to like, it's crazy. Like it's almost like if you had $1 billion and then you know what I mean, you just start to solidify it into objects. I feel like it's kind of what happens with the energy, like when you do psychedelics and stuff, or when you get to that high point of attraction and manifestation, it'd be like, all right, I got all this shit, let me slow it down, let me solidify it into something to where I can interface with the energy in a slow way to where I can make it make sense to me. Like, well, you know, like whatever it is, like, even if it's, so if I get a bunch of energy and then I get like, money and then buy a motorcycle, it's like, if I don't know, maybe if I just sat on that energy and like continued to cultivate it, the experiences that I got from the motorcycle are just kind of like the rudimentary, slower versions that, you know what I mean, if I'd just sat patient, I would probably, you know what I mean, I'd have continued, it would have been more and more rapid, like you said, like you're just manifesting so fast to the point where you're not used to it, And you're just like, damn, how can I slow this information down? Let me put this information into a car that gets me a bunch of experiences, and in those experiences, I'll digest what I would have digested, but in a slower way, through that vehicle. Because it's like using the breath work kind of becomes a vehicle of manifestation, and then you're like manifesting other vehicles, like whether it be people or places or things. It's like, let me just slow this down, you know what I mean? So it's not all like inside me, and I can kind of like make it tangible, so that like my personality and my person can digest it and adjust to, you know, all the information. You know, there's be so much information.
It's infinite. It's vast.
Yeah, I feel like I get impatient, and then I turn it into human information. That's like the only way, you know what I mean? And it's just like a slower translation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get all this energy, and it's like, damn, I could just sit on this and continue to cultivate, but I'm gonna just solidify it into human experiences, human vehicles, and human things. And I get the information still, just like in a way that my personality can digest it better. And like, I just feel like as I've gotten more seasoned, I don't like saying older, but like the more seasoned that I've gotten, I feel like it just becomes like to a point where I'm like, I want to just see how much yang I can really house, how much heat I can really house before I kind of like spoil myself in a sense. You know.
What do you mean by spoil?
Like, to the victor goes the spoils, you know what I'm saying, kind of type of thing, like spoils of war, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, the things that you've accrued, like, you know what I mean, it's like the spoils in a sense, like, you know.
Yeah, so kind of being like, if you know, how long can you go on juices until you have no needs, you have all the energy, and then
it's just like you want to share it.
Yeah.
I feel like that just becomes the issue, is like sharing things in a more intelligent way. Like, that's what I feel like my problem has been, you know, but it's a nice challenge. I shouldn't call it a problem, but like, it's the challenge, I feel like, is getting to those points of attraction and then sharing it in a way that's peaceful for you, you know, and like, because I've sacrificed my peace for the idea of being able to share something, and it's just like, the shoe got to match, you know, people got to be ready to receive it, you know. It's like, if I don't have a business or something going, and somebody gives me money, the money's just gonna go. You know what I mean? If I don't have a vehicle to put that money, that energy into, the money's gonna get ate away at. You know, if it's just sitting there, because the energy got to go somewhere. So it's just like, and then physically, I mean, if you leave money somewhere physically, the paper's gonna turn to mold.
Yeah.
So it's like the energy gotta go. Like, you gotta get into something, or you're gonna have to keep it in a vehicle and just constantly cultivate, and then I guess you can just cash out whenever you're ready at different periods. But as long as you have like holistic vehicles, you know, whether they're people, there might be holistic vehicles, you know what I mean, that like they have their businesses and you can invest in them, or you have a personal thing that's a holistic vehicle to where you can share that energy, you know what I mean. And then with that energy comes like pretty much your perspective, you know. It's kind of like packaging your perspective, that energy, I feel like.
Yeah.